Hello everybody, my name's Barry Garlow. Today, the Stylophone. This was designed in 1967 by a guy called Brian Jarvis. And it was originally designed as a toy. A company called Dubreq started production in 1968. And this is an original, as far as I know, it's an original 1968 one here. It's marketed as a pocket electronic organ. And just to prove this, I have one just here. Now, the old saying, "Are you pleased to see me, or is that a stylophone in your pocket?" would actually work today, because it is a stylophone in my pocket. Now this is, as you see, it's a bit worse for wear. There's a few bits chipped off here. But this is an original first edition one when they actually had components in it that you could see. If I just undo the back. So if you have a look in there, you can see nice PP3 battery, 9 volts, and you can see all the capacitors and the transistors there. We have a fine tuning control here, and then that's the main tuning one, so that kind of sorts out the octave. There are ways of modifying this, so you can actually create in theory, a bass version of it or a treble version by changing some of the capacitors around. And online there are various sites and schematics to show you how to do that. One of these days I'm going to do it myself, but till now I have fairly limited usefulness for a stylophone. These ones were made until about mid-70s. Then they were brought back out again, but they were made with a thing called a 555 timer. Now I used to have a teacher called Mr. Dennis, and he was an electronics teacher, and he didn't move his lips, and he had a moustache, and he used to go 555 timer. So every time I think of that, I think of him. Hello, Mr. Dennis, if you're still alive. I like the fact that you could just get straight into it. You don't have to undo any screws. There we are. Very basic. You've just got a line out there, which, as you probably expect, it doesn't really sound quite like the classic stylophone sound if you just plug it in or take a line out of it, because it's sort of straight into the circuitry, so it misses the speaker. And the speaker is half the charm of this thing. It's basically a very simple on-off button, and you've got the choice of no vibrato or some vibrato. So if I just give you a bit of a demo, I'm holding what appears to be a ballpoint pen. Now that to me sounds a bit out of tune. Not many people really have used these that I know of. The most famous one is David Bowie used this on Space Oddity. I always quite liked it on there because it sounds like kind of like a sort of a crap saxophone. Very crap. You can hear it's not quite in tune up the top there. Lesser known is the fact that he also used it on his next album after the Space Oddity song, The Man Who Sold the World. And there's a song on there called After All, which is worth a listen. It's got the chorus, "Oh by Jingo." So the basic idea is obviously you just touch the pen thing to the keyboard, which is a printed circuit board, and it completes the circuit, and there's a resistor ladder inside that just is the keyboard. And that's quite nice there because it's being completely analog. You can hear that it takes a few seconds, or maybe a second, for the vibrato to start when you switch it on. So let me just see if I can get a screwdriver and adjust the... If I'm looking a little scruffy today, it's because we've been moving everything around in Vintage Keys. We've moved a piano out, and we've got a couple of things coming in and various things happening in here. Anyway, so... That's better. Yeah, so you can see that little trim pot there is very similar to the controls that you'd have on an Ondiline or a Clavioline or the Univox, where you have the resistor ladder, and then the top end doesn't always sort of stay in tune with the rest of it. So you've got like a kind of an extra variable resistor at the top to kind of stretch it out a bit. So that's what that is in there. So you now should hear that is almost perfectly in tune. As I said earlier, these things were designed primarily just as toys, and obviously quite a few million of them were sold in the 70s, and they were fairly successful. Over the years, they've brought this back. They did a sort of a gimmicky version of it about 15 years ago that used to get sold in toy shops and gimmick shops. Now, Dubreq, the original company, have resurrected it, and they've remade the original, I think the original circuitry, or almost the original circuitry, so they're all sort of like nice analog things now. And they've also started making a little analog synth version as well, which is basically just a stylophone with a few extra knobs on that does like different, I think it's got tone generators on it, different tonage, and attacks, decay and sustain, etc. So all in all, a nice little fun thing, and great if you want to get a sort of a lo-fi sax sound as well. This is what I like it for. Here we have the booklet that comes with the original stylophone, and tells you all about the sticking a battery in, the amplifier, tuning, controls. Very simple, and I like the fact that it's so simple. It's not a lot of messing around, and it gives you a few ideas for things to play there. And nowhere does it mention a certain person. It's got a bit of writing on the back, so that must have happened after these were made. Now, I honestly couldn't get through an entire video talking about the stylophone without mentioning that beloved Australian Rod Hull's Emu. Ah, Emu, lovely to see you. Come in, do you want to have a go on the stylophone? So you're gonna have a go then? Well, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you get a chance, and I will see you again very soon. Take care.